What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's time to take a look at The Witcher 3 again here on Steam Deck, specifically DirectX 12, as it's had its most trouble since the next-gen update launched, with a lot of frame time issues, stuttering, and a lot of other problems with the game. And it seems like with this patch 4.02 and probably some other updates that we'll talk about, the game's certainly running a lot better. Now let's take a quick look at those patch notes over here. And for patch 4.02, there's a lot in here for PC specific and for console, and it's a nice little increase. Now, they've helped fix the CPU core utilization for DX12, which is probably what's helping most of this performance, along with other things with particle optimization that definitely was causing stuttering in the game during certain scenes in combat and that type of thing. So a lot of good improvements here with these patch notes, and it does really carry over into the game with offering a much better experience now than it did when the next gen update launched. DX12 was pretty rough, and I really only recommended at the time running DX11 because it was so clean at the time, but now DirectX 12 is actually looking really good, and even with a variable frame rate bouncing up and down, our frame times are really good with not too much stutter. Now, getting into the settings, I had to match what I originally set at launch time of the update, which was VSync on, unfortunately, in-game with 60 FPS cap here and 800p with full screen. As far as the settings, I had to match those as well to what I tested when this update had first came out, which was TAAU on high. We also had screen space ambient occlusion here, screen space reflections, motion blur off, everything off here except for light shabs and camera effects, and then medium low throughout the rest. So I had to match this to what I originally had recorded, so everything has parity here as we do these comparisons. Now, as we get into it here, we start off with the new update here, and everything's looking clean and nice. Let's compare this to what we had at launch day. So on launch day, you'll see FPS is similar. It's a little bit lower in just this particular scene sitting still, but you'll see more CPU and GPU usage here, which is a good thing, and you'll see a much better frame time. Now, when the update first came out, DX12 was very stuttery and had a lot of issues, and a lot of the time the CPU just wasn't being utilized properly to really push the frames to the GPU, and you would see that percentage drop, and you just don't see that as much now, which is giving us a much cleaner experience here for The Witcher. Now, it's important to note that Valve has also given us a GPU driver update in the stable OS version, which has shown to increase CPU and GPU usage in a good way in a lot of games already. So you compound that with the patch 4.02 here, and I think we have a much better experience now, as you can see for Witcher. This little area of combat right here, especially where I experienced some really rough frame rate drops and stutters and spikes, they just aren't existent anymore when it comes to the new update and playing The Witcher 3 with DX12 these days. And this is certainly a welcome experience from what we had before. So when it comes down to it, all this really does translate into a much better experience here for The Witcher 3 on Steam Deck. This is a game I really enjoy playing on the deck, and it's nice to see the DX12 version running this well. Now, I did go in and mess around with some other settings, and I turned off VSync and I unlimited the frame rate in game just to not hold anything back there, and everything stayed pretty much the same as far as usage here and frame time and being clean, no spikes or oddities happening there. And if you go into the deck's menu and you allow screen tearing or allow tearing, this will help stop the OS's VSync. And again, no major changes. Now, if you have your frame rate not capped at all, you might see some extra jankiness when it comes to the allow tearing, but if you have 30, 40, or 60 FPS cap with allow tearing, this can be a pretty decent experience and help lower input latency if that's something that you're looking for when it comes to The Witcher. But it's just something I was messing with in this area to see if it made any real differences, and as far as just performance, it didn't really change much here, but it does change how the game feels without any of that VSync enabled. But all in all, this is just offering a much better experience here for The Witcher 3 on Steam Deck. I'll definitely be using DX12 a lot more now, probably exclusively while playing on the deck and messing with a lot more settings. Again, there aren't really recommended settings in this video, but I think you get a good idea of how things are running now and how you might want to run the game if you want to cap 30, 40, 60 FPS and work with the settings there. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming out and check out the video as always, and I'll see you in the next one.